Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. Host Fat Jack, Brandon's your host. Louisville, we're going to get you ready to make some money. The games are going on. It's conference, or it's a divisional championship or divisional round of the playoffs. National championship of college football, basketball, soccer, UFC. I think is back this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Brandon will check on that, or I'll click up another thing. But thank you so much for joining us. We're lucky to be into the weekend and ready for it's going to be a great weekend making money betting on sports. Let me bring in from Louisville, Kentucky, Mr. Brandon Rush. Brandon, how are you, buddy?
Battling a cold and/or sinus infection, but outside of that, I mean, I'm peachy. I mean, we've got great football going on, some incredible playoff games both in college and the NFL, and the fact that there's profit coming in on top of it is just fantastic.
Yeah, and actually I'm a week early for the UFC. I think it starts up the 24th or so. So we're getting closer, but yeah, everything else is going on. You're right. Another winning week for us. Actually, a good solid week, top to bottom. We'll go over that. We'll get you people ready to make money. It's all those unclean people you're hanging out with at the office, Brandon. I mean, you need to convince them to let you work from home.
It's a win-lose situation for me because I would very much appreciate not being near people, but at the same time, if I work from home, I have too many distractions.
Yeah.
I have all the creature comforts. Like even during COVID, we had an opportunity to like work from home for a bit. I chose not to because when I'm at home, I'm doing other things.
Anything else, exactly. So
anything else but actually working, right? So.
Yeah, what do they call that? You don't want to crap where you eat or something. It's like dating.
Yes, exactly.
They have there's a saying in that. Some people love it. A lot of the younger generation loves that work from home, that kind of stuff. My daughter is thriving in that environment. I think I would enjoy it also. I'm ultimately would not want to be around people that much. Human resources, I'd be in there all the time. They would eventually fire me for something I didn't mean to say.
Right.
FatJackSports.com. Get signed up. Let's go over last week. Let's get people ready to make some money this week. We won last week. Had a really good week. Solid week start to top to bottom. Going back to the college football playoffs. Lost with an opinion on the first night. Won with a selection on the second night. The first night, we lost the opinion. It was, and by the way, if those of you knew, selections are the top amount. So if you're a $100 player, you play 100 on selections. Opinions, you play half. That's $50. And then go to how it works on the website to see everything else as far as baseball, basketball, soccer, UFC. All those things are all posted and documented under the how it works tab on how much you should be betting on each of these sports. But lost that first one. It was actually winning both sides in total of one. If you were winning it all going into the 2-minute warning, you end up losing it all. The line was very tight. Took a little bad luck to lose, a little good luck to win. And then the next night we had Indiana. They won easily, so we rolled through that. And then we got into the NFL playoffs. Looking like it's going to be a monster week. We started the NFL playoffs. Started with a perfect 3-0 on the first three of the first two games. And then laid an egg on the Chargers. That's the problem with the play. Not the problem, but that's the thing about the playoffs, not only in the NFL, but when we get to the NBA playoffs, the teams, if you're dialed in on them and you know what you're doing, you're going to make a lot of money betting on those matchups. If you don't, it's super hard to fix that. And in football, where you're not playing a 5-game series, 7-game series, if you hit it wrong, there's a chance you're going to lose side and total, which is exactly what happened in that Charger game. But like I said, going up to that, everything else was winning. Before that, we were dominating, actually swept the board on Saturday, Sunday in those games. So overall, profitable football, profitable basketball. The players' profitable soccer again. Soccer's dialed in now. You know, it's funny, Brandon, we've talked about this before, but last year they won like 100 games of profit. And so the bar is so high that we'll go through, and soccer will make – the last 2 or 3 weeks have been really good. We had a plus 290, a plus 230, and we're winning more than we're losing, and some of those are literally 2-1 on your money winners. We're not up 100 games, so I'm like, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's funny where you end up landing. But, yeah, really, really strong. We've got the World Cup coming up this summer. There's going to be – I was thinking earlier, Brandon, I've already factored in – I will make more money in 2026 than an average year over the last decade or so, simply because we're going to make money in the summer that I normally have not made. I mean,
right. Yeah, I mean, once the Super Bowl ends, it used to be it was just basketball, and then when March Madness was over, it was just like we trickle in some NBA playoffs, and then just a little bit of baseball here and there throughout the summer. But yeah, the added addition of soccer is going to propel us through April, through May, through June, and then when the World Cup gets going in July, that's just going to exponentially explode anything that you've or outperform anything that you had done 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Yeah, the baseball averages about 50 games of profit a year over the course of the entire season, but you have to play.
It's such a long year.
Right, and you have to play it all. I mean, so I give away for free for a reason. I'm not betting every single baseball game. If I go to Greece or go overseas for 3 weeks, I'm not betting the bases. They're free. What do I care? I've got guys that are really good at that. Nobody is paying for it. I'm not paying for it, obviously, because I trade with my baseball guys, and so I'll miss those. So if I make 20 games of profit, the way I look at it, if I'm a $100 player, I make $2,000 for free over the summer in baseball. That's good. That's worth doing. But I'm not living and dying. The World Cup, we're gonna win in the World Cup. It's just the soccer guys they're really, really good at their job. Consistently win week after week and month after month. No, we're not up 100 games this year over the last year, but we're approaching 50. I mean, we're actually doing really, really well. And those plays, when you get them now at fatjacksports.com, you add them to your football and basketball package, it breaks down. Like right now, if you go through, you add them to your football and baseball package, it's about $1,200 for all the soccer from now all the way through the 2027 Super Bowl. So less than $100 a month. That includes a month, not a week, a month. Includes the World Cup stuff, includes all of the English Premier stuff, all the different leagues that they cover. It's an incredible deal. So now is the time to get those long-term packages. Don't wait until right before the World Cup and pay $6.99 or $8.99, whatever it's going to be, to win in the summer because you're bored. You can lock that in now. And the World Cup, what does it last? 2 weeks or 2 months?
It's about a month, all told.
You're going to
about 5 weeks.
So you're going to pay $100 for those plays. That's it. For all the World Cup plays, if you're getting the soccer now, adding it to your football and basketball package, it's going to cost about $100 for all the World Cup plays. I mean, it's really, really a good deal. Go to fatjacksports.com, sign up and win. Basketball won last week. As we said, soccer won last week. Now's a great time to get signed up and win. All right, what'd you take away from last? Before we get into this week, because we have a lot this week, divisional round of the playoffs, national championship game coming up on Monday night. What'd you take away last week? Pros, cons, where are you at, Brandon?
Starting first with the with college football, it's Indiana's world, and we're just living in it. It's wild to think that, and there's part of me that still is kind of hung up on like, yeah, but it's Indiana. Like eventually the shoe's going to drop. Incredible number to throw out here. In the last 3 games, Indiana has beaten Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon by a combined score of 107-36. They are not a fluke. And I think that is something that people who are stuck in this mindset of like, well, they're not an SEC team. They're not a traditional power. They can't be doing this. They're doing this. And we may see Monday night a coronation of one of the greatest regular seasons, maybe in the history of college football, or there's still, for me, that like 3% seed of doubt to be like Cinderella's shoe comes off eventually. Right. But to that be said, Indiana is doing more than I thought that they were ever capable of.
If they lose, and by the way, that's why we make so much money betting on sports, because what it takes the normal fan, and if you talk to the normal fan, they will all give Miami a puncher's chance, and a lot of them think they're better top to bottom. That's just not true. Indiana might lose on Monday, but if they lose on Monday, I'll just tell you right now, Brandon, it's going to be because they turn it over 3 times, or if turnovers matter. Indiana,
or if their quarterback gets hits his hand on a helmet in the first quarter, and they have to go to his brother, who's the backup.
Something happens. I mean, that's where we are. But this team, if you don't know how good Indiana is because you haven't been watching Indiana, and by the way, the SEC's at home. All of them are at home right now, trying to jump. All the players jumping into the portal. College football is so broken, Brandon. When you have players that go to the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas and Georgia and Alabama and started jumping into the portal, it tells you all you need to know about the state of college is only about money. This has nothing to do with winning, nothing to do with facilities, nothing to do with a path to the NFL, nothing to do with any of it other than the bag. That is it. That's the only thing they're thinking about. Would I be doing that? Absolutely. Am I asking for loyalty? No. The system is broke. The product is broke. I don't think anybody. I'm not judging anybody for acting the way they're acting, but we're not going to see. The big question, maybe, Brennan, is football. Are they better this year than they were 10 years ago? Because I don't think Indiana is a generational program. What I think is that the minute that you stop developing talent, freshmen becoming sophomores, becoming juniors, becoming seniors, they're better now because we've evolved as a species. Really, I mean, they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. So they're better than they would have against an Oklahoma Sooner team or a Nebraska Cornhusker team from the 70s that literally guys walking on, waiting their turn, and then getting to start when it was their time. These teams would obviously kill those teams, but overall, the product and the sport and the players individually are not as good as they were back then because they are not getting the coaching and the development, similar to what we see in AAU basketball. You just don't. It's fun and gun. Where can I get the best situation? But it's not about developing as a basketball player or a football player. Right. And so I don't think as a team or as a sport it's any better off from a product standpoint than it was. And I don't think that's going to change because nobody's developing anything. We're all just chasing the bag from the top on down.
Yeah, and to your point, it feels like one of those things to where if Indiana is, I mean, obviously they're the best team in the country this year. You're right; they're not as good as say like the 2019 LSU team, even though they're blowing teams out because those kids developed under that system. Indiana just figured out the right mix of guys. And it was the right time. Maybe they're a little bit ahead of the curve in the portal recruiting. Maybe not so much the NIL portions of it, but they found guys that fit their system, and they've done better than any of the other programs have been able to do in finding those guys.
And I guess in my opinion, the evolution of this, if you want to be better and you are the SEC sitting at home watching the national championship game, and you're some of these bigger programs, you'd better figure out a way to keep your players. If you want to get better as a football team, every coach will say this out loud. But I don't know that they're emphasizing trying to figure this out enough. And I don't know how to do it. You can't lock them into more than 1-year contracts. But that's the thing. You've got to figure out how to keep your quarterback. Carson Beck should not be playing for Miami. Carson Beck should be sitting at home with Georgia right now. You don't go from Georgia to Miami unless you want to do anything else but make more money. Now, yes, it's worked out. And it's the opposite of my theory, but that is not why. That's not the average player. If they're trying to win, they're not making a lateral move from the starting quarterback at Georgia and going to Miami. I just don't. If they say that, they're foolish. They're trying to fool everybody else, but that's not the case. Indiana, an 8.5-point favorite, total 48.5. Indiana's covered 4 of their last 5. They've gone over the total 6 of their last 9, and they're by far the most balanced team in the country. They have been for a long time. We've been saying that for a long time. And certainly once we got into the playoffs, they are the Ohio State of last year. They are better than everybody else, and they're certainly better than Miami. Now, I will tell you, little bit of that caveat is if Miami's able to run it the way that they've been running it, basically leaning downhill and being able to, it's not 3 yards, it's 5 yards, then they will have a shot. I don't suspect they're going to be able to do that. They're going to make Carson Beck. Indiana's going to make Carson Beck beat him and make him throw it. And this is not a kid that's had to do that this year. He's been a game manager. It's worked out. But I suspect that Indiana's front 4 and some of their run blitz packages are going to keep Miami behind the sticks unless Carson Beck makes some big throws.
It kind of feels like the Georgia team from a couple of years ago with Stetson Bennett. Like Bennett didn't make incredible plays. He just didn't screw up. It kind of feels like how I feel about Drake Maye. They are Brock Purdy. They are just carbon copies of guys who don't make the dumb mistakes at the wrong time and are surrounded by good talent. Big question for you, though, Jack. What's going to be larger, the number of points Miami scores or Indiana's margin of victory?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the thing. This has to be a low-scoring game if Miami's in it. For sure. They have to figure out a way to get some stops against the Indiana offense, and that's where the turnovers come in. Otherwise, I see this kind of being like Pittsburgh, Houston. I mean, I don't think Miami's going to have a ton of success offensively.
Right.
Indiana's defense is really good. So And I think that it could be a close, low-scoring game. And when we talk about releasing free plays, releases, whatever, that's kind of where you start looking at game script and how this thing should play out. And I do like the under early on. I don't know that it stays under. We've seen this out of these college playoffs now for a while, where they've trended under, and then boom, everything goes over.
Fourth quarter comes around, and then it just becomes an absolute shootout. They're sending 9 guys.
Defenses are tired. Yeah, the guys are running wide open. I mean, literally, they're not even guarding anybody in the secondary. So the total becomes a little bit of a dicey thing. But I definitely think this game stays under early, because I don't think Miami, I think they know who they are, and I don't think they want to make Carson Beck have to do crazy things. They want to run the ball. They had a ton of success doing that, not only against Ole Miss, but really their entire playoff run. It does talk to the process of the playoffs. I guess the committee's sitting at home right now saying, we got it right. We did great. Thank God we got them in instead of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I mean, I don't really view it that way. I think you get the right team that's hot at the right time. There's so much parity in college football, and that's been one good thing about the NIL, is that you have had the opportunity to move around, and you're not having backups sitting on the bench at Alabama and Georgia. They are playing for Miami and Indiana. And so
has definitely leveled the playing field, and to that point has maybe lessened the grip that the SEC has had on the talent pool in college football.
Everybody's still playing catch up on the new system until they switch it. I think we're going to have a lot of teams that we're not used to seeing.
Indiana.
Yeah, that we're not used to seeing, that just get lightning in a bottle. They catch at the right time with whatever NIL money they have, and they make a run. So FatJackSports.com, if you can't keep up with this, we're getting ready to do a thing with Murray Parrish and Parrish Devon about his free winners. We give away some money if he gets it right, and he has not had the best run with those picks lately. And we talked about being able to do something just because you're pretty good at it, or just because you know something about it. Obviously, Murray and everybody out there listening, they know about football. They've watched it. They know how to gamble. But making money consistently doing this is so difficult, and even more difficult now than it was 5 or 10 years ago when you had similar players at similar universities. It's a totally different ballgame. And I'll tell you, just from personal experience, it requires a lot more hours in the year to get caught up. Where it used to be, you could basically take the latter part of June, first part of July almost off, because you knew who was going to start for a lot of the team. And then you play catch up with some of the other schools that had a big turnover. Now everybody has a lot of turnover. There's nobody that doesn't have a lot of turnover, good, bad, or indifferent. That has to be worked on. And if you're doing anything else with your time, you're not going to be able to do this successfully long term. Go to FatJackSports.com. Sign up today and win betting on sports, because that's all I'm doing. I'm figuring out how to make money for myself, my clients, and everybody else. How are we doing on time? We want to take a break, or we want to turn to the NFL real quick? Because I wanted to get all the college stuff out there before because the NFL, we got a ton of stuff to talk about. Not only last year, Mike Tomlin just got fired. Aaron Rodgers, what's his story? We ended up hedging out of that Pittsburgh bet. We could pat ourselves on the back a little bit. Lots of different things to get to. So we want to take a break now, or you want to go ahead and get onto that a little bit? I'm not going to give away a free winner in the national championship game, because there's a chance that I'm going to release both. How have you I'll ask you this before I ask you about breaking. How have you liked, when I've sent out the picks, for those of you out there who are not clients, normally I have this theory that most people don't care about how. They just care about how many. All right. It's if I play Houston over Pittsburgh and Houston covers, but they create 4 turnovers and Pittsburgh nobody cares at the end as long as they had Houston. And on the adverse side of that, if they had Pittsburgh, they don't care how they got there. They just want to get there with Pittsburgh. I understand that everybody would like more information, that's fun for them to see how and get a little insight, but ultimately they don't care. And I know that because I get feedback, and nobody talks about, you lost with Pittsburgh, but they turned it over 5 times, or they lost their quarterback, whoever it is, lost their quarterback in the first 3 minutes of the game. In the college game this year, particularly in this playoffs, I've sent out a little synopsis about not who we like, but how I got there. Just a general overview of how I got there. Have you enjoyed that? What do you think that's worth?
I think for me personally, it's good. And I think for, especially for like maybe the elite clients that want more action, they can then understand your mindset of how you got to, releasing, a certain team on a certain side or a certain total. because you can then take that information and be like, all right, well, if he thinks this, then maybe I go ahead and I play a prop that maybe you didn't give out. So I think for the people that are invested in this and want to be armed with more information, I think it's great. To the general public, a guy who's just signing up for the weekend doesn't give a damn.
So from a selfish standpoint, you willing to pay more for it? You out there, you want me breaking down, you want me to take the extra time and tell you why. I'm not guessing on any of it.
Mm-hmm.
People I think can see that. When I send out the synop there, like, yeah, sure enough, this all makes sense. If you lose, does it help you feel better about the loss?
It does me, because I can understand where I can see the road that you went down to get to a team plus 6.5, and then when that path doesn't come to fruition, you can point to that and be like, oh well, that's why the pick lost.
Yeah.
So I mean, selfishly for me, I see the bigger picture, so I appreciate the information.
There are times that I wish that I had sent it out, because a lot of people, I think, especially when you send out bad teams. You send out teams that nobody wants to bet on.
When you get the New Orleans Saints in early November, and you're like, why in the hell are we playing them?
Yeah,
I think sometimes that would be
to answer that.
But again,
why in the hell? But it's like, how much is it worth? And right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. People will say, well, you're wrong. You didn't know that. So I don't know. I definitely struggle with that. It's not that much extra work, because I do the work anyway. It's just basically putting it down. I'm just curious what the value might be. So if those of you guys don't know what that is, just I don't know how you would even find out, because if you're not a client,
you don't know the process.
Yeah, sign up Monday. If you sign up Monday for the national championship game, you're not only going to get who we like in Miami, Florida, and Indiana. You're going to get side, and you're going to get or total, or the other one. If we're not playing it, you'll get kind of a lean on that. You'll also get kind of why, I don't know, 2 paragraphs.
It's the roadmap to inform a better why we're going with the selection or the opinion or the pick that you've released.
Just
how
general,
we got to that point.
Yeah, it's not a book. It's just a paragraph or two that basically says, here's what we're doing, here's what I'm looking at, here's what I'm not looking at, blah blah blah. So if you want that, get signed up Monday night for the national championship game. If you want to make money, get signed up long term. You're going to get that included as well. FatJackSports.com. Sign up today and win this week. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to turn to the NFL. So much to get to in the NFL. I want to talk about last week's games. We'll obviously get to this week's game. We will give away a free winner or two in this next segment, or segment number 3. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I had some personal stuff too. We might get to that. We might not. Whatever. Stay with us. You're listening to the Fat Jack Sports Hour.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Before the ball is tipped or a shot is even taken, before the crowd explodes or history is made. If you're going to bet, have a game plan. Bet legally. Set limits. And keep it fun. When gambling becomes a problem, visit responsibleplay.org to find help.
Hey guys, this is the Fat Jack. Are you finally ready to get a better plan betting the games this year? Let me help. Go to FatJackSports.com, where we understand that it's not the gambling she hates, it's the losing. FatJackSports.com.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and now here is our host. He is our playoff winner. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 2, divisional round. NFL playoff weekend, national championship in college football coming out on Monday. Are you sad we're wrapping up the season, Brandon? Are you okay with it? Where are you right now?
I'm good. I mean, between basketball, we still got some incredible NFL playoffs coming. Soccer's going. I am knee deep in a hockey theory. It's out there, and to be honest with you, though, it is nice to kind of get a little bit of a breather after 20 weeks of football. That we can kind of focus on some other things. We've got the Olympics coming up. I mean, everything. I'm okay with college season being done.
These are theories. These are ideas and feelings that you have when you're a winning sports bettor. There's very few people that are the only reason that losers want the season to be over is because they're sick of losing and they won't be tempted to bet whatever's coming up. But I'm like you. I'm okay with the football season wrapping up because we've had a very good football season. We made a lot of money with football season, but there's also some very exciting things coming up. Not only with basketball, we almost always have, again, hoops have won the last couple of weeks, but we almost always have some type of 20-2 run that happens either in February, late February, early March, somewhere in there. And so those are very exciting and very profitable. But with the World Cup and all the other things going on, and frankly, I've enjoyed watching the soccer. I never thought I would say that in a million years, but it is directly tied to the profit. If I wasn't making money, I don't know that I would watch it a lot. But I've really enjoyed that. I have clients that, I got a guy the other day that reached out, who's been a client for a long, long time. He said, hey, my son is in London. He's going to whatever. He's going to be going to a couple of these games. Can I get soccer for the week? And so I made him out a week package, and he won with that. So guys that are going to be going overseas, they want to take these plays with them. It's been a lot of fun. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. As you mentioned, the Olympics. I get asked a bunch, will we have an Olympic package? Probably not. But it will be included. Those are the type of things, Brandon, that if there is a way to make money, if you're in the system, you become part of the quote-unquote family. If you're in and you're going all year long, I'm not going to withhold information from you. So if there's something in boxing or the UFC, or if you said hockey, if we get some angles there, or some sport that we just don't sell a package for or give away for free, but I come up with something or somebody gives me something. I've sent out horses before, specific horses to people, because I have clients that own a bunch of race horses, and they had, the 5 horse and the 5th race at Santa Anita going off that's 12-1, and the guy says, hey, this bad boy, we got him set up for this race, da-da-da-da. I'll send that out for free to everybody that's in my paid subscription system through the year. So there's a ton of reasons to go ahead and go to fatjacksports.com, get signed up now. Waiting is only going to cost you more money, for sure. So now is definitely the time. We wrapped up the contest, put a big bow on those. Let's talk about the other stuff. The Pittsburgh Steelers that we gave out preseason at 28-1. I specifically sent out to everybody, hedge back Houston, bet 4 or 5x on Houston on the money line. You'll make about $300. So a guy that had bet $50 made about 4x on Houston beating Pittsburgh. That was free money just for following us preseason. You made that money this last week for free. I also, and we were lucky, believe me, but said we're not going to hedge the Rams. We're going to wait.
It was sketchy for a bit.
It was sketchy for a bit. You're right, but they ended up getting there. So now we will hedge that. But I'll send that out this week. If you have a Rams ticket at 18 or 20-1, I'll send that out. That's going to be extra money guaranteed in your pocket. These are things you didn't pay for originally. You didn't pay for now. You just get it because you made a good decision this time of year last year to get in the system and start making money. So those are all turning out great this year. The contests, the Circa contest, I finished 330th out of 6,000 people. Unlike poker that pays the top 10%, they don't do that. So I ended up, I think I was 25 games or 20 games over, not 25, I was like 20 games over, 18, 19, somewhere in there. But it finished at the top. I've not been outside the top 500 in those contests ever, but it does take so much luck to win or to get to the top of those things, because there are weeks, and we've talked about this before, Brandon, these national contests with Westgate and Circa, where I don't have 5 picks, or
at least on sides.
That's what I'm saying.
If there was a contest that was sides and totals, I think you would do very damn well.
I probably would, but there are times when I just don't have 5 picks that are sides in the NFL on a Sunday, or a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Sunday, Monday. And inevitably, when I have to force those, I'm not going to hit any more than 50%, and sometimes worse than that. So instead of being up 30 games and being right in the mix of things, I'll end up being up 20 games because I just don't have it. I don't have those. So a little bit of luck, and I will win one of those contests at some point. But it's hard to do because you just don't always have 5 sides going in the NFL. Anyway, but still 330 or whatever, 330th out of 6,000 people. That's not the I could have done worse for sure. So more reason to get signed up at fatjacksports.com. Let's look at these games coming up this weekend in the playoffs, Brandon. Anything stand out last week? What jumped out as far as that team might be better than I thought or worse than I thought? Where are you with the NFL playoffs?
I now think that with the Pope on the side of being from Chicago, that the Bears may be onto something here. all jokes aside, Buffalo's a little bit more resilient than I thought they were. There were times in that game where Jacksonville, I thought, played some very good football, but they found ways to lock in and make plays when they needed to. The Patriots are maybe a bit better than I thought defensively, at least. And Houston, if they don't turn the ball over a bajillion times, they win by 60 at Pittsburgh on Monday night. But it's not a huge bunch of surprises, but there are some fun ones this weekend. And I love that every game is within a touchdown, except for, I guess, Seattle because of the Kittle injury. But we've got some tight ones this weekend.
And what's funny about these, Brandon, it's very predictable because there was so much parity in the league. You know, the teams getting the buys are not teams that we normally, Denver and Seattle, they're not teams that we normally are comfortable with them getting those buys. So any of the games going this weekend, you can kind of make a case either way. And it might not be whether a team's great or not. It just might be, well, what's their path to get here? So you look at Jacksonville, you look at some of the teams, Pittsburgh, some of the teams are at home. In the end, you look up and you're like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, they were pretty good, but were they good enough to – did the team that beat them, did they beat them because they were a lot better and they're a great team, or because they're getting inferior opponents? Houston, what do we –
Or did they just win a really bad division?
Yeah. Did they get in because of the make of the playoffs, how you get in the playoffs? The Pope deal is an interesting thing. The Pope deal and playing at home, you know, we went years and years of the Super Bowl champion not being able to play on their home field. And then we had the Rams win on their home field. I think we had one more that at least played there.
The Patriots. The Tom Brady Patriots.
Exactly. So that's happened a few more times. And you've got San Francisco, the games in San Francisco this year. And San Francisco's another team you look at and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on with this team? This team 2 months ago was dead. They too many injuries. Warner gets hurt at linebacker. Now they got Kittle out. They match up pretty well against Seattle. I don't know if you've looked at this, but I mean, this is a Seattle team that all the pressure's on. They still have Sam Darnold at quarterback. San Francisco's played them twice this year. They beat them once on their home field early in the year, first game of the year, I think, and they held them to 13 points per game on both matchups. So San Francisco's sitting there saying, you know what, we've been hurt for a while. We lost 13-3 to them on our home field. We scored 21 points somehow. We can beat them. Our defense, even with all the injuries, Warner was hurt. A lot of their defensive injuries were hurt the last time they played. San Francisco has a recipe to be in this game if they can generate some points. And so even that one, that's the only one that's not inside a touchdown, if I'm Seattle, I'm a little nervous. I mean, they're same division. They know each other really, really well. I can see.
They say it's hard to beat a team twice in a season, having already played a team twice. I mean, it's going to be either way, you know, because they split the series. That's a tough intrigue, and it's probably one of the more intriguing matchups for me this weekend.
Nothing is going to sneak up on either of these teams, and all the pressure's on one team. And as we saw last week in the playoffs, home field did nothing. It was bad. I mean, a lot of home teams lost. Most of them. What was it? 5 of the 8 home teams lost, and Chicago was lucky to come back against Green Bay.
Carolina, Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. So 4 of the 6 lost on their home field.
And could have been 5 of 6 lost on their home field had Chicago not come back and won. And that is in a round where you're supposed to be getting disparity in the good versus the not good. I mean, that's not always
the wild card round is not made for home teams to lose.
Exactly. So the interesting dynamic there. Now you have some of these teams that we think are unproven as normal sports fans, like Denver, like New England. New England's still the same team that has been benefiting from one of the worst schedules in literally the history of the NFL, certainly the last 20 or 30 years of playing the worst teams possible. They get a Chargers team that Justin Herbert clearly needs to go see a shaman or something. He's no good in the playoffs. He's throwing at the wrong team. He's running too early. He looked like a chicken with his head cut off. It was not even close. And he looked like a guy trying not to lose. At no point did I look at him and say, this guy looks like he's got the ability to win. They turn it over a bunch. Against a New England team that's certainly competent. But what was that about? Now New England gets Houston, the number one defense in the league, and a team that just came off a ton of turnovers. You would think that the variance would come back to the middle. I don't expect Houston to give up the ball that many times 2 weeks in a row. It just doesn't happen in the NFL. So that becomes a real dangerous spot for the Patriots. I don't want to sound like a Patriot hater because I've been winter's coming. It's been my theme to the Patriots literally for the last month, that they were going to lose because they were playing a bunch of nobodies. Clearly, the Chargers were undermatched. They were not good enough to be in that game. But is Houston, with their offensive setup, are they enough to get it over the top? I tell you, Nick Collins in concussion protocol does not help Houston's offense. I think that's probably an underplay. I'll give you that. That's the first free winner.
Already the lowest total on the board this weekend, and you can definitely see a path to where this game goes under because a Vrabel-led defense is doing fine, and Houston, like you mentioned, the number one defense in football.
I'm surprised that it came out that high. I mean, we had Pittsburgh and Houston in the high 30s. I guess they just think Drake Maye will have some more success. I don't expect Houston to really open it up a whole lot. I don't think they trust the quarterback. They have Collins in concussion protocol. I think.
And how many of their points against Pittsburgh came from defense and special teams?
From defense, yeah, they're okay. Kind of, let's let our defense cause some mistakes out of the other team. So I don't think they're going. Another one of those, the first half under is probably also a good play. Total 43. I would expect that to end 41, 42. I think you bet that early in the week for sure. It's definitely not going up. There's not a world unless somehow they move the game indoors or something. It's not. You don't want to. that total's not coming up. So if you're going to play under, which I would, that's your first free winner. I think you don't overthink it. You get two of the best defenses in the league. You do get a conservative game plan coming out of New England. We forget Drake Maye is not. This is not. He's not used to all this. He overperformed, played really well against the Chargers. But was that more about the Chargers and what they're not doing than it is about New England's offense? I definitely think Houston will be conservative, especially on the road. Let their defense take over, and they've kind of become that personality over the last month of the season. This has not been a team offensively that's really got it going, and then they just late in the game, if they had to open it up, that's where they've been able to do that. And they've been waiting on their defense to kind of take over. So under the total in the Houston-New England game, that is your first free winner of the day. FatJackSports.com. Sign up today. Get all the plays all year long for the best possible rates. If you'd signed up in December, you could have paid out the football and or combo and or all sports over 10 months. That is really good. That's basically, I mean, you're spending that more on dinner one night in a week if you're going out and taking somebody out. That's how little it would have cost you at 10 months. Now you're down to 8 months because we're in January. So if you want to save, if you want to pay the least amount per month, now is the time, because when we get to February, guess what? It goes to 6 months. Now your payments are more. Prices aren't going down. They go up. Why do they go up? They go up because we want you to get all the plays at the best rate. And if you're going to wait and you're going to miss the profit that's going out for free to you, basically, you're going to miss the profit today. You're going to miss it next week. You're going to miss the summer profit. All these things we just talked about. As far as getting the free prop bets and getting the stuff when it's ready to go. All those, if you're going to miss all that, we're going to have you pay more because you're more likely to complain and or quit later in the year. And we don't want you to do that. We want to incentivize you to sign up today, get all the plays, become a winning sports bettor, and not complain. To your friends, to your parents, to your girlfriend, whatever, or to us.
To the DMs on our social medias. Yeah, we don't need any of that.
We're not interested in that. We want you to win. So if you can't do that on your own, we're going to incentivize you financially and say, do this. This is your best way to do it if you just think about the money. You don't think about all the profit. You just think about the money. It's a lot less expensive to sign up today for the next year through the Super Bowl than it is if you wait until August or September. FatJackSports.com. Sign up today. Win this weekend. The other free winner I'll give away, and this goes basically until this team loses, is Puka Nacua over on receptions. I don't care who
focal point of that offense. Yeah, he is the focal point of that offense. He's the only guy that it kind of feels like Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. The focus of the offense is him. Everything that they do revolves around him, because if they send him deep, they're going to throw under. If they send him under, they may go over the top. Yeah, you're right. get him the ball somehow, some way. If I would love to find if there is a number of carries and catches bet anywhere, because they love to throw him on reverses sometimes.
There are those, and some of those have been taken. A lot of the sharps have taken advantage of McCaffrey in those. They won't play McCaffrey on just carries or just receptions, but they find those numbers where they're both. They just know he's going to be such a major part of what they're doing. Puka Nacua, and my clients will tell you, we've released over in his it's up to like 7.5 on a weekly. I mean, just a ton of receptions. And
they could make it 9.5.
He flies
I'd still
over.
probably take
Exactly. He's getting double digits because they do get into him so many ways. They do some shuttle passes. They throw screen passes to him. It is extended the running game. So Puka Nacua over on his touches. So if you're out there playing with Prize Picks or one of these other apps in some of the parts of the country that don't have sports gambling, it's some of the easiest money out there. Kittle was actually trending that way also. Obviously, Kelsey was that way. You had Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was doing it for Detroit. There have been a few players this year that have just been such a consistent part of the offense of some of these teams.
Jackson Smith and Jigba for Seattle has been a guy who's been trending over, although I think the books are maybe – they can't set the number high enough for Nacua. I don't think they can find the right number for JSN.
And that's kind of what we're talking about, is taking advantage of the ceiling on where they can set these numbers. I mean, it's not it's with Nacua. It's a high number to go 7.5 or 8, but they're going to get more money on the under if they trend that thing up 9 or 10. But the reality is it probably should be 9 or 10. We talk about that with totals in the NFL a lot when they're under. Like you'll get a total that's like 33 or 34. That probably should be 27 or 28, but they're never going to set it that low because then they're going to get every $50 guy. It's like, hey, just take the turnover or two. So they set it high enough to get that money about even. That creates value on the under. So take advantage of that. Nakua's receptions, that's what we're doing here. You put it 7.5, that's a super high number, but probably a catch or two lower than it should be. The only time he hasn't gone under, though, I bet him, he got hurt. I don't know, 4 weeks ago, he got hurt and left the game, and now you're like, he's got 2 receptions. I got to get him over 8 or whatever. That's over. But that is the problem with the over. Sometimes you like Kittle, you're going to have Kittle over last week. He goes out with Achilles. Now your ticket's a loser. And a lot of these sports books have stopped. They were giving you money back on some of those, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah. That was a thing on the internet last week. DraftKings?
They're still doing it
necessarily. Yeah, but they didn't really come out and say it. I think they kind of got bullied into it because DraftKings was like, "Oh yeah, just because the regular season's over doesn't mean we're going to stop this promotion of a player. If a player gets hurt in the first half, and we're going to refund your wagers, or if they're in a parlay, not counted as a loss." And FanDuel didn't necessarily come out and say that they were going to continue in the playoffs, and they kind of got bullied into it. But yeah, if your sportsbook's not offering that, might be time to look in other spots.
Yeah, if you're in a state that has one, you probably have multiples, and there is a competitive, situation where people are trying to get your business. So make sure that you care enough, you're a good enough steward of your money to do the minimum on those type of things. So most importantly, get consistent winning plays. FatJackSports.com. Sign up today and start winning money get the weekend 169, get everything through football, basketball like 189. Go through the Super Bowl. It's going to be about $100 a week for everything. We're giving away free props with the weekend package this week. So if you sign up for football, you're going to get players props for free just for signing up. So you're not going to have to pay for them this week. Last week we did that. If you signed up for the weekend package, they went 5-2 on the late game. Yeah, 5-2 in the Pittsburgh-Houston game. They went 7-3 in the earlier games. Went 16-10 overall. So that was free. You didn't have to pay for that if you sign up just for the weekend. Similar thing happening this week, where if you sign up for the weekend football, you're getting those players props sent to you absolutely free as a bonus. So we're trying to give you reasons to get signed up long-term to save even more money on the packages, make even more money, become a long-term client versus somebody that just, I'll sign up for this week and see how it goes. So FatJackSports.com, sign up today and win this weekend.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Now for the final time in college football season, here is our host. He is the big man on campus. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 3. Wrapping up this week's show, getting you ready for playoff football, getting ready for the national championship game. It's been a very good year in football, and so many things coming forward. We talked last segment about not having certain packages or certain sports. We will probably have some Olympic stuff. I have people that's what they do, and if they come up with something that looks like it's going to be, and that'll give you something else to play here over the next few weeks. The Olympics start the Friday of Super Bowl Sunday, so like on the 6th, that's when the Olympics start. So, are you a big Olympics fan, Brandon, or no?
More summer than winter, but I love the hockey. I love just watching the the luge. I think that's incredible stuff. And then some of the like snowboarding stuff that I really kind of enjoy that. But yeah, definitely more summer Olympics than winter.
Yeah, I like them both, actually. I kind of get into it. It's funny that they don't last quite long enough for me. I understand that people are like, what are we doing? And, 2 weeks is plenty. But it takes me about a week to start caring. So I get in that second week, and now I'm like really excited about the short track speed skating. Or
once medals start coming out, you're invested.
Or the sport where they snow ski around and then start shooting at things. I mean, things
the
that
biathlon,
yeah. That's not something during my regular life I give a rip about either way. But for some reason, that second week of the Olympics, when are they going to start shooting some crap? I want to watch them start.
Yeah, speed skating is intriguing. I like the longer track. The short track seems too dangerous to me, but the long track speed skating, I kind of mess with that.
Yeah, and that's comparable to the summer where they're riding the bikes super slow. I love that one. They ride bikes like 0 miles an hour trying to stay up, and then all of a sudden they're going really. All that kind of stuff. I love it. Like I said, I wouldn't want to do it full time. Don't care that much, but for a couple weeks in the winter, sign me up. I'm excited about it. So if we have plays, there will not be an Olympic package. It'll just you'll get an email and the portal that says, "Hey, we're gonna play Eugene Slovacek on the short track, whatever. He's 7-1. Go.
If I get ski jumping futures, I'm set.
You might, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
we don't know.
Somebody gets on a heater, and I'm like, we take advantage of this stuff, or I just. I've got nothing to do, and I'm going to bet it. I'm going to set it along. This is not Russia. You always have the opportunity to not bet it, but I'm going to pass it along. If we're playing skeet shooting or whatever that thing is, I'm going to pass it along. Fire a couple bucks out there, see what happens. So, FatJackSports.com, even one more reason to get signed up. We were talking about Super Bowl next year. It's a later year next year. Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, they've moved to the schedule to where it's always the second Sunday of February. It just happens that next year is Valentine's Day. So if you might be in the doghouse maybe this year because of your football wagering or because of you spend time with the boys watching football, next year you better start planning ahead because you're going to have to make a decision if it's going to be Super Bowl party or a Valentine's Day thing.
I'm going to figure something out with Mitchell's about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how are we not doing a promo there? I mean, if I hit – I don't know what it'd be. I'm just thinking out loud. But you buy something the week of Super Bowl, and then if I hit it, you get like a $500 gift certificate or something for your next part. I'm going to talk to them because we got to put something together there. My gosh, how many times have we had the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day? Yeah. That's going to be a big deal. So we need to take advantage of it.
We should run it. We should run it all year long. Your Super Bowl future. If they get into the big game, anything bought during selected weeks, half off. Whatever. Something like that. Yeah.
I'm going to give it a thought, and then I'm going to reach out to Newton Gina. They're always looking for something fun to do, and it's very.
And they're always game. They are great.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. Stay tuned for that. Here on the show, and certainly get signed up. FatJackSports.com. You'll be grandfathered in to whatever we figure out as long as you're getting in the system now. So what are these other games, Brandon? So the Bears, I heard, we have the Pope angle, and I don't hate the Pope angle. I really don't. I think that's a good – you've got two teams here. Chicago, dominating turnover margin this year. They are a team that is 11-5 against the spread their last 16. And – the cold is not a great spot for Matt Stafford. I mean, this is another one of those playing at Soldier Field. Crazy. That's not where it's interesting to think about this Rams team. They were a 2-point conversion away from all this stuff kind of being played in the friendly confines of L.A. And instead of that, they're going to some really tough places in hostile crowds in really cold weather. What do you think of that one? Bears have a chance?
a low of 9 degrees on Sunday night when that game is being played. So yeah, that'll be a stat that I guarantee gets thrown out, is Matthew Stafford's record when it's below 32 or below 40. The Bears are not a fast starting team. The Green Bay game was the first time they had scored on the opening drive, I think, in 9 games. So it may be one of those situations where if you're maybe play the Rams first half and then the Bears to come back. I mean, or if they're down a few points, and you want to bet them live. That's a team that's been dangerous in the fourth quarter of games. If they can go out though and get points early, put pressure on Matthew Stafford to go out and perform in the cold, maybe that is the recipe for success for the Bears. I mean, I don't enjoy playing. I don't enjoy doing anything when it's 9 degrees outside, let alone getting hit by guys the size of a refrigerator. So the time and place of that game, I think, is maybe more important than the opponents.
I will tell you, it's working out good for that futures bet for sure, because the Rams, we got at 18 to 20 to 1, somewhere in there. We didn't hedge back last week. We're lucky to get to this route. But now we get the Bears as a dog on the hedge situation.
Plus money.
At plus money. So you don't have to – a lot of times when you get these longer shots, they're going to be the underdog going into these rounds. And so you're going to have to lay – similar to the Houston-Pittsburgh game last week, where you would have to lay a lot more than even money to make your money back. Here, you don't really have to. So we'll definitely hedge this back. We'll probably give up 2 or 3x. So if you bet $100 on the Rams to win, and that would have been 8 to 8, win 1,800, we'll probably have you bet 200 to win 360, 370, somewhere in there.
Bears are plus 170-ish as of recording on the money line.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, and that way you're going to guarantee yourself another $200 or $300, $400 more just for signing up this time last year. We don't. This don't go on the overall record, Brandon. It's just free money for people. It's just money that when you sign up, when you pay attention, when you do what we ask during the course of the year, you're going to have free money coming into your account throughout the year that you haven't paid for. I always think it's interesting. People will say it's too much when you sign up to get the yearly price. Oh my gosh, is it so much?
I mean,
$60
when you
a
think
week.
about when you think about it that way, it's not. But the big number overall, I think people get hung up on is you have a season package, through the Super Bowl, football only $1,800. Handing out 4 figures for anything is sketchy at times for people. But when you break it down to $60 a week like that, when you explain it that way, it softens the blow.
And I shouldn't have to do the math for everybody. You're not going to have to pay anything
right.
else. I mean, you pay $1,800 now, or go back and look and see how many weekly packages you signed up for when you were thinking about it in September at $200 a week.
You paid $149 for a package that only got you the weekend.
And you won, but then you're like, well, I didn't win it. I only won 3 games. What am I going to do now? That is all fixed when you just make one good decision now, one long-term decision now, and that doesn't even count all this extra money you're making, not counted with baseball, not counted all these other free things. This is just sign up early, get the emails, place the bets as you're going through the year, and then when you get to the season, you don't have to worry about whether to sign up for a week or 2 weeks because you're already in the system. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up today and win this weekend. Any final thoughts, Brandon?
We talked about the Pope maybe being important for Chicago. There's also a trend for the Seattle Seahawks to make the Super Bowl any year that a new Pope has been elected.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we get Seattle versus Chicago in the Super Bowl, the Pope's going to have some explaining to do. That's all I'm going to say.
That's probably is there any way to bet on that and take advantage? Seattle's still one of the favorites, right? We didn't even talk about who the favorites are. Next week, we're going to figure it out because things are going to adjust dramatically. I guess Seattle will be the only one that won't move a lot if they win. But even with New England winning, I think they'll jump up there. People will start believing if they beat Houston because Houston is the real deal on defense for sure. And these other ones, they're getting ready to move up or move down a lot depending on how this week goes. Obviously, if they lose, they're done. But even the ones that, if the Rams move, you're not going to get anywhere near after this round that you will now because they're a game away from the Super Bowl. So a lot of different reasons to get signed up, a lot of ways to make money. Still here in football season, and so many things going forward. Guys, don't drink and drive. Wager responsibly. Have a great weekend enjoying all the football, basketball, everything else. For Brandon the Fat Jack. Until next week, guys, have a great week. I'll see you soon. This has been the Fat Jack Sports Hour.